We were doing a pretty large move, and we were also rolling out VDI at the same time. And our one-time thin client manufacturer kind of led us astray, and model change, and it all kind of fell apart on the ground. So
Wow.
we kind of struggled and powered through it. I was pretty upset with where we were, and it was just like, yeah, we can't continue to roll this out across the U.S. So we kind of pushed pause and said, okay, we got to find a better solution. Choice Solutions, who's a partner and a client of ours, just happened to be hosting a golf tournament, and we're like, hey, you need to talk to Russ. And I'm like, yeah, Russ with who? And he's like, oh, Russ with iGel. I'm like, never heard of him. And just so happened, after we'd had some swing lube and aiming fluid, we struck up a good conversation with Russ, and he promised a few things, and we kind of called him on it and said, that's BS. Everybody talks a good game. It can't be that good. And then he came in, and we demoed it and set up a little test bed, and it was almost instant. And we said, okay, we're in.
Cool.
Part of the design of what we do in the growth that we've had is what we call office in a box. And back in the day, it was PCs, switches, routers, all this stuff, and we'd get a call on a Monday that we'd have to open an office on a Friday. And it'd take 3 or 4 days. A lot of people would be on the ground, a lot of work. And we knew that model just wasn't repeatable. And so as we got into VDI, as we call it, Cirrus, part of the challenge was we needed to make it so simple that we can just roll in and do it in a few hours. And that's what we've accomplished with iGel and VDI and what we've put together. We start up offices in hours, basically, instead of days. The fun thing that we have that has really kind of popped up here recently is the cloud services gateway and how we are really kind of adapting to that. The insurance industry is really at a crossroads from a disruption standpoint. This conference name is very apropos in that sense, is that how people are getting insurance to market has totally changed. You don't have to go see an agent anymore.
Right.
And direct to market is becoming a big deal.
Yeah.
And so brick and mortar offices are just kind of going away.
Yep.
And so remote work-life balance, all of that is played into our culture and is becoming a key impact of keeping quality talent. And so the gateway services piece was key to us. Without it, it would remotely managing one-off situations is not but nobody likes to do that.
Right.
So that's really kind of changed the game for us as well. The biggest thing for us is putting, is the talented people that are out there don't necessarily want to live in Kansas City or Atlanta or New York or one of the offices we have. They might like Boise, Idaho. Mm-hmm. That might be where they want to stay.
My dream.
Yeah, and it's like, well, we don't have an office there, so it's pretty much ship them a thin client, get them connected. We do voice, we do the whole thing through there, and that allows them to be closer to their clients usually, as well as it just creates a better environment for them. It's getting the hooks into them to stay, and Lockton's really good at that. We have to be pretty agile. We have to be everywhere to everybody, and the any device quality, anytime, anywhere, any place, and that's kind of what we've tried to establish with iGel and the back-end stuff that we've put in place. Yeah, so for us, it was, we're very entrepreneurial. Every series, every office has their own P&L, and putting in servers, things like that, adds a lot to the CapEx piece of that. So by pulling everything centralized, we eliminated a lot of servers, a lot of things like that. So by office, we really started pulling a lot of costs back. But we didn't start the project out to be about saving money. We were trying to do it cost neutral. We were trying to provide the same experience that they had today, just anywhere they wanted to go. That was kind of the rule. But it turns out, our CapEx savings is in, the initial 4-year piece that we had was in the, $7 to $10 million range. And as we move that forward, that allows us to set up an office with, if you think about it, if you're going to join Lockton and you're a producer, which is what we call our salespeople, there's a lot of overhead that you've got to cover that first year, 2 years, 3 years. And just by eliminating the overhead of the IT portion of it, really puts them in a better position. It's less of a struggle. If sales guys, they're always beating down the doors, and those guys, I couldn't do what they do. But just that savings piece alone of not having the hardware in play. The other piece it's allowed us to do is, kind of change the real estate landscape. You don't necessarily have to be in the epicenter of a city. You can have a 20-person office and not really have, you can have a private workspace or a smaller workspace because half of your workforce is, a remote team. So that's really where we see that cost piece translating into our business side.